Por primera vez en 200 años de la República, me convertiré en la primera mujer presidenta de México.
Now, it says 6, an historic day for Mexico as the country elects its first woman president.
Truly astounded at his bravery and courage and strength.
Plus, the local beach closed after a man was bit by a shark. And why academic workers are on strike at UC San Diego this morning.
You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday. Hope you had a nice weekend. It's 6 a.m. now. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Neda Iranpour. And let's check in on your forecast. Get you ready for this week. For a lot of people, the last week of school.
That's right.
School's out Thursday.
And boy,
yes.
Mother Nature is timed out perfectly for it to feel like summer by the end of this week.
Nice.
Thursday, Friday, excessive heat warnings, heat advisories scattered across the southwestern U.S. San Diego County, no watches, warnings, or advisories in place. So we don't have as much of the excessive heat to look forward to, but we will still see, nonetheless, a warm up going into the end of the week. For this morning, Monday, here we are, marine layers back with us, and that means that May gray has now officially transitioned into June gloom. Upper 60s along the coast, mid 70s as we make our way inland. We're already starting to see some indication that marine layer is starting to pull back. That's great news. Could see some sunshine along the coast this afternoon. But what we are all gearing up for, like I said, is some warmer temperatures going into the end of this week. We'll time it all out for you, talk about how warm we'll get in San Diego versus other parts of the state. Again, that's in just a few.
Vamos a seguir haciendo de México cada día un país más justo, democrático, libre, soberano, para seguir construyendo la grandeza de nuestra patria.
Breaking news, Mexico has elected its first female president.
Claudia Sheinbaum will become the first woman to lead the country in its 200-year history. CBS 8's Chris Groh is live outside the Mexican consulate in Little Italy, where the wait time to vote there yesterday pretty long, Chris.
Yeah, this was, again, a pretty busy election. We saw people waiting in line as long as 5 hours here at the Mexican consulate. A number of different races, but again, the presidential one catching all the headlines both before and now after due to the history that was made here for Mexico electing their first female leader in their country's history. Claudia Sheinbaum, 61, the former mayor of Mexico City, and also a climate scientist and part of a Nobel Prize winning team of researchers on the issue of climate. Now, Claudia Sheinbaum was declared the winner. In fact, it was almost a statistical guarantee that Mexico would go ahead and elect their first female leader in their history because polling had Sheinbaum and opposition party leader Xochitl Galvez as the top two candidates going into yesterday. Now, as for Sheinbaum, she is expected to carry on many of the outgoing president's national policies, that being Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Those include the universal pension for the elderly and a program that pays young people to apprentice. During her campaign, she called for more programs to address social inequality. Here she is shortly after being declared the winner.
Con los Estados Unidos habrá una relación de amistad, respeto mutuo e igualdad como hasta ahora ha sido. Y siempre defenderemos a las y a los mexicanos que se encuentran del otro lado de la frontera.
And that Nobel Prize victory, that was back in 2007. So it's been quite the career trajectory here for Sheinbaum as she now begins or will begin her 6-year term as president beginning on October 1st. Eric and Neda.
All right, Chris, thank you. And this morning, Tijuana is closer to having a new mayor. Right now, Ismael Burgueño is in the lead with nearly 60% of the vote. He is backed by Morena, the ruling political party in Baja California, and the same party as Tijuana's current mayor. New this morning, Hunter Biden is the first child of a sitting U.S. president to face a criminal trial. Jury selection is underway right now in the federal gun trial against President Joe Biden's son. Hunter is accused of falsifying a federal firearms form and illegal possession of a firearm while using a narcotic. He now faces 3 federal felony charges. Experts say much of this case will focus on the definition of the word addict.
Whether he believed he was an addict, whether he was in fact addicted when he checked the box on the form saying that he wasn't addicted.
If convicted, Hunter Biden could face up to 25 years in prison.
Right now, part of a Del Mar beach is closed to swimmers and surfers after a man was bit by a shark. So you'll notice these signs happened just before 9 in the morning yesterday. The 46-year-old man was swimming in a group about 100 yards offshore when the shark bit his torso, his left arm, and his hand. Officials say he went to Scripps Memorial La Jolla for his significant but not life-threatening injuries. He is currently recovering from surgery.
Truly astounded at his bravery and courage and strength, because despite being completely lacerated by a shark, he had both hands in the air and was calling for help. He saved his own life first and foremost, and then I turned towards the shore and I started yelling for help.
Yeah, she was in the water when all of this happened. Another person was bitten in the thigh by a shark at the same beach there in Del Mar in 2022, although officials say it's not a common occurrence.
This is the only 2 bites that we know of juvenile white sharks at aggregation sites in the last 10 years of us monitoring these aggregation sites, where we've literally tagged hundreds of sharks.
Chris Lowe there from the Cal State Shark Lab there in Long Beach. Over the next few days, the Shark Lab and many lifeguards will be monitoring the area. Right now, Del Mar Beach is closed from 6th Street to North Beach until tomorrow at 9 a.m. Today, a rolling strike by unionized academic workers across the UC system expands to more campuses, including here, UC San Diego. United Auto Workers 4811 says its members will join picket lines on campus this morning. The union represents 8,000 academic workers at UCSD, which includes teaching assistants, tutors, and academic researchers. This is video from the picket line at UCLA last week. The wave of strikes started at UC Santa Cruz. It comes in response to the University of California's handling of pro-Palestinian protests at various campuses. They want the schools to give amnesty to academic employees and students who were arrested or disciplined.
Today, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is urging City Council to not change the funding he has allotted in his budget to emergency personnel. The City Council is expected to conduct a final review of the $5.6 billion budget later this week. Gloria has budgeted over $2.5 million to the fire department, $21.6 to the police department, and over $9 million for ambulance services. This after police went $9.2 million and the fire department went $15.7 million over budget last year due to overtime. This all comes as the city is facing a $172 million budget shortfall. Also today, the San Diego City Council is voting on whether or not to spend $1 million in emergency funds to fix Pacific Beach's Crystal Pier. The pier was closed off back in December after sustaining damage in a powerful storm. More damage occurred earlier this year, and the pier remains closed right now. It is still unknown how much the repairs will cost.
And now this morning, firefighters getting a better handle on a wildfire that's burning in San Joaquin County, the Coral Fire. Now 50% contained. It started Saturday and has since burned a little over 14,000 acres. Firefighters say Highway 580 acted as a natural break in the flames, protecting the city of Tracy, which is home to about 100,000 people. This is all east of San Francisco. The fire has destroyed at least 1 home. 2 firefighters have been hurt. And now here in San Diego, a vegetation fire near the Otay Mountain Wilderness has now crossed over the Mexico border. So this fire started Saturday afternoon near Butte Wig Canyon. According to the latest update, the fire has now spread to about 400 acres. 250 acres on the U.S. side, about 150 acres burning right now in Mexico. The fire is 50% contained.
Sounds like we have a dry start to the week here, Evan. Any moisture in sight that you're seeing?
None.
Nothing,
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
And in fact, as we get toward the end of the week, it's going to be a lot drier and a lot warmer. So
Okay.
really starting to feel like summer out there. We are also talking, of course, to all the kids that are about to enter their summer months. And it looks like as school comes to an end, because we know a lot of kids are going to be saying goodbye to the classroom starting on Wednesday or Thursday for at least the next couple months. That's going to coincide with the time that ridge is directly overhead. Thursday, Friday are 2 of our warmest days that we have had so far this year, as we start to see some of our deserts warm to 110, and then farther east of us, 115 degrees. It's going to be really hot out there. But we along the coast are going to be more mild, and those temperatures are going to be not as dramatic in that climbing trend, It's because of this marine layer out there. So marine layer is starting to pull back. It looks like it will not stand much of a chance for this afternoon, but it's very much active this morning. Sunrise was at 5:41. You could see how overcast it is from up above those clouds. This is Otay Mountain facing west. Sunset's coming at 7:53. Remember, day length is extending all the way through the summer solstice. We're going to watch as these clouds pull back steadily, but we do still have a good amount of them on hand with us. Overcast to start off the day, and then 9, 10 a.m., you know the drill, we'll start to see those clouds retreat. May gray now transitioning into June gloom. When we summarize the month of May, those clouds really had an effect on us. I mean, our average afternoon high and average overnight low for the month of May were below average. 2 degrees below average on our afternoon highs. Precipitation, remember we had those clouds, but they didn't squeeze much out of them. Only saw 7/100ths of an inch, so we were over 2/10 of an inch below where we normally would be for the month of May. Don't worry though, this ridge of high pressure starts to build, gives us some warmer temperatures, especially going into Thursday, Friday. Temperatures do look to stay still above average going into the weekend and early next week in many cases, but right along the coastline and within about 5 to 10 miles of the coast, that's where you're still going to kind of hold on to those at average temperatures, and you're not going to see as much of fluctuation. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Got to focus in now on traffic, see how your roads are as we kick off the day. It's a quiet start to the morning commute, no major crashes or collisions here at the 6 o'clock hour. You can keep up to date on our website, cbs8.com/traffic. It has more. Let's check in on border wait times and how those are looking. 80-minute wait right now at the San Ysidro Port of Entry, an hour 20 in total. Otay Mesa Port of Entry running you about an hour 15. Back to you.
Evan, thank you for that. And still ahead here, President Joe Biden expected to take executive action on the border, what he could do.
Plus, Americans are weighing in after former President Trump was convicted in a hush money trial, what the latest poll shows. And want to live longer? The diet that could greatly reduce your risk for disease.